only using this monopropellant yet, which is excellent. We can, by now, fast forward a little bit. And I want to be moving a little bit more in this direction. So I'm going to be shifting us. As I've said, we have the Delta V, so why not be wasteful? Nice, Fub. Classy. Very classy. Okay, this should be good. Let's make sure we... There we go. Now arrest our motion so that we can fall straight down. And at this point... There we go. I really like, again, I need RCS to maneuver. I love that. I'm loving it. Okay. At this point, it comes down to, I think... Let's lower ourselves a little bit more. And now, detach. Lower our landing gear. Use the RCS to get a little bit of distance between this detached fuel tank and us. Because at this point, we just need to descend carefully. I believe I should have nearly twice as much fuel as I need to get home to Kerbal. I still want to make sure to be careful. Oh darn it, it is saying that I have a very long burn ahead of me because we made this engine smaller. I did not account for that. Oh. So that means we are burning more monopropellant. Oh god. I completely forgot that we made this engine much smaller. We needed more Delta V. Darn it, I should have used the normal engine profile. This can now kill us. Why on earth did I use such a small engine? Also, it has very little gimbal, which is very problematic. Which means these Kerbals are going to die. They're going to be stuck on Minimus. Because we're not going to have enough monopropellant to properly maneuver this thing. Also, this engine is too small. We cannot lift up, I think. Oh, darn it. We probably should make the best of what we have and escape. What we're going to be doing is we're getting out. We're going to touch down and we're going to get out right away. Okay, we're going to use the minimal gimbal that we have. to try and get us out. Because I guarantee you, with the monopropellant that we have, we are not getting an easy return. This is the most disappointing mission we've ever done. But it's good to know, because we now use way more monopropellant than we normally ever do, and this engine is too weak to get us where we need to be. Your advices are the best? No, that's your advice actually didn't particularly change what we did. The Delta V, we have enough fuel. That's not the problem. We had enough fuel in the first stage as well. The stage that we have. The problem was this engine was way too small to do what we need to do. And look at the monopropellant. Since we have mandatory RCS, we don't have the maneuverability without an engine. So this engine we definitely need to make bigger. Because you can see the struggle we're having right now of just trying to get back, and I have to do a lot of steering here to get the gimbal properly back. This thing, since it also moves and slips to the side, would not have gotten us to space easily. It's a shame about the science. Let's see what we can still... Oh, see what I mean. Let's get that focus up. Stay there, stay aimed there. See, we might have been able to land and get there. It'd be very, very tight. Okay, get that telescope observation. Get that crew report. Whew. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to point out. That's the thing, Supreme Mafia. I have the mandatory RCS, so we can only maneuver very slowly. God, we might crash into that thing. There we go. The gimbal on this engine is too small, and reaction wheels don't work anymore, so... The thrust-to-weight ratio of this thing was 1.83. I thought this would have been better, but I should have looked, of course, at the actual definitive thrust. Come on, slowly. There we go. This is the most wasteful little touchdown we've ever done. Okay, I think this should be good. Start aiming more in this direction. So here's the weird thing. I thought a thrust to weight of 1.95 right now would have been more than enough to get a stronger reaction. Okay, this is good so far. Whew. So, as I said, here was my issue with landing. Since, as you can see, we need the monopropellant to move around, and we have... This gimbal is very, very weak in actually getting us up. We only have 900 left right now. That should be enough to get back to Kerbal, no problem. But I was very doubtful whether we would be able to adequately, accurately do that. That's very frustrating, though. Oh, wait. Actually, we can do an EVA report. Don't toggle the EVA suit. EVA report. Thank you. Ah, there we go, there we go. We do have a little bit of reaction wheel that we can use. Imagine if the moon landing would have been like this. Like, shh. Okay, we touched it. Let's go back. Let's go back. I'm done here. Okay, this is going well. Ooh, near the poles, orbital telescope. We did have, of course, a spacewalk in Minimus. Nice. Orbit of Minimus. That gives us a little bit of science. Perfect. So we definitely need to redesign this entire spacecraft. Particularly since the monopropellant requirements are massively different from what I've been used to with this mod. That coupled with the yeah, we needed to just we needed to get out as well as we could. That to me made this too risky to proceed with, and we reached our abort. Interestingly enough, by the way, the moon landing was nearly aborted. So here's the problem. Now that we're in this orientation, we cannot get an easy return to Kerbin. Not as easy as we did before, because before we went into an equatorial, I was just happy to be able to get into a proper orbit, but then we would be able to accelerate already in a retrograde as compared to Kerbin direction, which we cannot do this time. So I'm trying to see, I've never actually done it from this orbit before, whether there is a direction you can do that, but I don't think so. Let's not launch us into orbit. That would be a bad thing. Okay, since we're not going to get a good moment anyway, I might as well there we go. I might as well just go as quickly as we can. Actually, we're just gonna do it like this. Making this engine small was definitely a mistake. That is a good lesson to learn. I'm still surprised. I don't know. I guess that's the thrust torque. I guess I still have to figure out why the acceleration, why it's so slow. I would have, with this thrust to weight, I would have expected far more power. On the upside though, it doesn't use much. We have 15 full minutes of burn. That should probably be enough. 800 milliseconds is enough to return. What a waste of a mission, though. We probably could have landed and taken off, but it could have gone quite wrong. And since we have Kerbal lives on the line here, I did not want to risk that. Okay, in 3 days we're going to be there. Let's see what we can do. This is the most inefficient burn, but that's all right. We have the delta V. That is a little bit too much, but we can do that. Let's add that maneuver node. Oh, yeah. Crew report. Let's do that irradiance scan that we forgot about. Most visible in IR light. Far IR channels record only weak signal, indicating there's no internal geological activity. Huh. And let's do an EVA. And here I was going to show you those surface experiments finally. Guess we're gonna have to wait one more day for that. But yeah, I don't know if you know that, if you knew that, but the moon landing was nearly cancelled because, as it turns out, the spot that they picked to land on turned out to be very rocky, and they didn't know that. They hadn't anticipated that. So as they were going down in the lander and they saw that it was rocky, they had to maneuver to a secondary landing site and fly away. And there was a safety line, like a minimum amount of fuel that they had, which was the return point. Radiant scan. Okay, goo observation. Let's get that as well. Mystery goo and Badlands seem like a bad combination to you. Rather than opening up Pandora's box, you forgo the experiment. Just make up some data. Quote that data, please. But yeah, so he had to fly to find a new landing site. And as it turns out, they nearly reached the level where they just had to abort and go back, because they'd be near half of the fuel. Just about at that time, a little bit before it, and we're talking literal seconds, they found a reasonable site to land on. And at that point, they directly said, okay, we're putting it down, we're landing it, full stop. So the first Moonman landing nearly didn't work out. Travel all the way to bounce on minimum service, can we codename the next vehicle Moonhopper? That would be very appropriate, wouldn't it, Trust? Okay, this will be just fine. Ah, this is so disappointing though. I'm gonna have to completely re-engineer this. In particular, add way more RCS than we're doing. Way more RCS, bigger engine. What else? Was there anything else that I mentioned that we needed to change? Well, at least this is a test of a proof of concept in general. Oh, of course. It's, oh, okay. Apparently that's some kind of safeguard. Looks like we can't physics warp anymore. But yeah, as you can see, we had 1.92 monopropellant left at this time. So had we gone on with a full landing and a full liftoff again, I think we might not have had enough monopropellant to turn our vessel in the right direction anymore. And that's specifically why I wanted to abort it. Oh yeah, Supreme Maverick, that's what I mean, RCS fuel. No, we have enough RCS. Yeah, these ones are enough. No, sorry, I meant specifically monopropellant, yeah. Those Kerbals though, yeah, They are just super happy to be there. We should all have the mindset of a Kerbal. Like, I'm okay not having set foot on the Minmus. We landed on Minmus. That was amazing. Look at that. Bill is having the time of his life. Maybe he knows that, you know, Jeb and Bob died. Both on Kerbal. He's like, dude, I went to Minmus. I am happy. Like sitting in public transport, waiting the whole time, and then hearing that the ride's being turned around back to the departure point. I'm still very surprised. I really don't understand something. I really don't understand why this thruster weight is supposedly 570. Apparently tweak scale messes up thruster weight. 570 means that this thing should be nearing light speed. That kind of thruster weight should be crazy good. There's something wrong with Kerbal Engineer. Okay. And let's get a nice periapsis of a little below 40. We should be fine. Let's speed up. Oh, there we go. No more goo observation left, of course. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, we are in atmosphere. Time to ditch. There we go. Oh, look at that thing. That is already heating up massively. And there we go. Let's maybe retract that antenna. Now, we're getting a very aggressive 3 kilometers a second return, but we should be okay because that ablator is going to be capturing... Oh, that thing is blown up. That ablator is going to be capturing all of the fire and brimstone. You know, that's also pretty much like being on public transportation. Ooh, that pod is... There we go. There we go. Cooling off and getting hotter and cooling off and getting hotter. That pod does not know what it wants to do. We'll be fine, though. Have a little confidence. Have a little faith. Check out how our buddies are doing. Actually, do I have any... I didn't install any camera on this end, did I? External? No. Attitude. Got a graph of our radar altitude. We don't have an autopilot. Let's check our vessel. It's gonna be fine. There we go. Some navigation. Where are we going to be ending? Oh look, these are the mission parameters that we needed. So we are still falling. Our vertical speed is increasing, as you see, but our horizontal speed is slowly decreasing. We're going to get in quite a bit of burn still. What can you actually see from in here? Very, very little. How about a different Kerbal? No, how about not? How about not? There we go. Let's have a look inside, see how our Kerbals are doing. Look, they're having the time of their lives. Oh, we're already slowing down quite a bit, of course. As you can see, we actually bounced off the atmosphere. That's what you do with a real proper aero brake. Or actually, that's what you're hopefully, avoiding doing. But fortunately, since we have to move through a lot of... what we did actually was... Oh, can't show it here. What we did was we dipped below, and then now we're moving above again. We're moving out. But since we are falling through the atmosphere, we will be slowing down enough to actually return again. So even though we are moving upwards, as you can see here, at 100 meters per second, even though we are rising, as you can see, our apoapsis is actually slowly being lowered to below 70, which means we have a full capture, because we are at that moment fully in atmosphere. Boom, in capture. Hearing explosions behind you is a regular experience for you when taking public transport. Well, that's the hope, Fub. That's the hope. You know, all those people who talk in the silent compartments. And by the way, again, remember, 3 full kilometers per second we descended into it, and that took us a little over half of our ablator. That was the full-on capture, and right now we are massively slowing down and should in fact be just fine. That is, so this is actually what's called aero braking. Let's see if we can focus back here. No. So that's what's called aero braking. That's how on a planet with an atmosphere, there we go. And we will be landing there. That's how on a planet with an atmosphere, you can actually save a lot of delta V. So as you can see, this thing will slowly... We are moving up to our ever lowering apoapsis. But this is how you save delta V, by not using your actual engines to slow down in orbit, but you just, let the resistance of the air do it for you. So we're going to go to this point. You can already see that this measures our vertical speed. That is slowly dropping. See, very slowly it's moving downwards, but soon it's going to flip, because this is a logarithmic scale. Seeing things break down by the simple laws of physics, lack of maintenance has a tendency to occur. The river shall turn red with blood of all those who do not adhere to the gentleman's train travel etiquette. Oh, yes, indeed. I shall glare at them quite sternly. Okay, watch the flip in a moment. When we reach 800, 63, 800. There we go, you go to 10. Slowly lowering its speed. Let's smooth this up. And there's the flip. We are now falling again. And pretty soon, since we're still going 1,000 kilometers above where we would want to be, we're going to get more fire. So normally in aero brake, I don't know, normally on Kerbin, you could get down in one go. We bounced off the atmosphere, as you can see, i.e. we came in shallow, we slowed down a bit, but not enough, so our speed was fast enough to get us out of the atmosphere again, almost. And that's a bounce off